my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review and all-day wear test of the new Revlon Fill and Blur Foundation. This is, Revlon Youth FX Fill and Blur Foundation. If you guys are interested in seeing how this foundation applies and wears throughout the day, please stay tuned. Okay guys, so take two. I literally just put a full face of foundation on and I was not recording. So sorry about that, but let's try it again. I just went and washed my face and we're gonna do it again. I'm so irritated right now. My neighbor is mowing their lawn right there, so I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. So I'm going to be applying this again. Half my face with a brush, half my face with a beauty blender. I'm using the MURAD Cosmetics. This is like a dupe for the Artiste brush. And instead of using the actual beauty blender, I'm going to be using Flower Cosmetics. You can purchase these at Walmart. I used this for the first time yesterday and I am in love with the sponge. I don't have my little makeup palette that I normally use handy, so I'm using the back of my hand. You can see it's a very thick consistency. On the package itself, it does say that it says Revlon Youth FX Fill Blur Foundation dramatically transforms the appearance of lines and wrinkles, and it contains SPF 20. There is a disclaimer on the back for the SPF. It says apply liberally 15 minutes before sun exposure, use a water-resistant sunscreen if swimming, reapply at least every 2 hours. So if you guys use foundation as sunscreen, keep in mind every 2 hours is pretty much the standard recommendation for that. I'm going to start with a beauty blender and I'm just pouncing that on the back of my hand. And as you guys can tell, I've already done my eyes, so I'm trying to be careful. In the first take, that didn't record, I am so sorry. I applied it to my face first. Instead of directly on the beauty blender like I'm doing now. And I'm getting a way better coverage doing it this way. On the website, it says it's a lightweight hydrating formula, fills in and blurs lines and wrinkles with microfillers and optical diffusers. As the appearance of lines and wrinkles are smooth, this high coverage foundation erases the look of uneven tone, age spots, and hyperpigmentation. Available in 12 shades. I don't have any primer or anything on. I did moisturize my face like normal, but I didn't use any primer today. I want to see how this holds up on my combo oily skin without primer. This is shade Buff. I think it's okay. It looks pretty good with my neck. My chest is a lot darker, but I'm wearing a high cut top today, so it should be fine. Yeah, definitely start with the product if you guys get this foundation by pouncing it directly onto the beauty blender instead of starting with the product on your face. This is working out much better than before. So there's one positive to screwing up and not hitting record. It blends out really nicely. It is definitely not smoothing out any lines or pores as of right now, but it does look a little powdery, so it might need to just kind of sit for a second. Some foundations, when you put them on and if they have that kind of powdery look, a lot of times they tend to warm up to your skin and settle down a bit. Now, from before, I already know I'm not gonna like the finish with the brush, but I'm just gonna show you guys anyway. And again, the first time I did apply it directly to my face and then tried to blend it out with the brush, so I'm trying it a different way this time because I did not like that at all either. It went on very sheer and it kind of just moved around my face. It didn't really cling to the skin. I do prefer the application better this time So I will say that instead of putting the product directly on your face, put it on your brush and then go in. So normally with a sponge you usually get lighter coverage. With this, I'm actually getting about a medium coverage, and with a brush I'm getting a light coverage, maybe light medium. I'm gonna say light. I'm gonna blend that down my neck on this side because I have that hyperpigmentation. So just so you guys can see how it applied with a brush, I'm gonna go over this real quick before it sets with a little bit more on a sponge so that I can get these two sides a little bit closer. If you do want a sheerer finish, then I recommend the brush. You can definitely get this sheerer with the Beauty Blender if you start with the product on your face first instead of on the actual Beauty Blender or Beauty Sponge. I shouldn't call it a Beauty Blender because that's the actual brand name, but Beauty Sponge. Y'all know what I mean, right? Just know what I mean, not what I say. I'm really liking how this product looks on my forehead. I will zoom in a little bit for you guys. It's pretty pale. I'm not used to being this pale, but we will warm it up with some bronzer. So I am really liking the finish. It has a skin-like finish. It's not matte, it's not overly dewy. It is kind of creasing a little bit around my birthmark, but that's kind of to be expected. It's not creasing at all yet in my fine lines and wrinkles on my forehead or in my smile lines. I really like the way it looks around my forehead and smile lines a lot. Not too bad around the nose. It's a little powdery, but not bad. All right, so I'm gonna go off camera and finish the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back to let you guys know how it applied, how the rest of my makeup applied over the top of it. All right, time is 11:47, so we'll just say 11:45, that'll be easier. Everything went on really nicely, blended out really nice. I did set this because it did have kind of a tacky feel to it even after about 5 minutes, so I did go ahead and set it. I used my NYX Stay Flat, Not Matte. No, I always do that. Stay Matte, Not Flat powder foundation. I love this stuff, especially in the summer on my combo oily skin, and set right around the T-zone, sides of the nose, center of the forehead, chin, and then whatever was left on my brush I just lightly tapped out. I didn't use any more product on there. I'll be right back to check in. Okay, check-in time is 4:50 right now. Still holding up pretty dang good. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So it's settling a little bit into my smile lines, not bad at all. And my forehead wrinkle is looking pretty dang good. I am a little shiny. At this point in the day I would normally blot, but I'm not going to. We're gonna wait and see at the end of the day how it holds up. It's breaking down around my nose, so stay tuned and we will see how this looks in another few hours. Okay, it is 8:38 right now, and this is going to be my final check-in. So the foundation has been on all day. This is how it looks right now. I am definitely shiny, and it has completely worn off my chin all the way. Okay, so as you can see, it's definitely, especially around my nose, is breaking apart and pulling in like the little crevice of my nose. My forehead still looks really good. It hasn't creased into that deep line at all. My smile lines haven't really creased at all. I mean, there's some texture in them, but it's not bad. It did completely wear off my chin. Everywhere else looks to be holding up really well. So I'm actually really impressed with this foundation. I feel like it held up really well. I will use it again with a mattifying primer and see if we can get it to last a little bit longer. But for no primer and no touch-ups, and it's been on this long, it's held up really nicely. Especially like around my cheeks, it hasn't broken apart or anything. It's just mainly the center of my face, my nose and my chin area, which is kind of a trouble area for me. I am going to go ahead and just quickly powder just to see what this looks like if you were to touch up throughout the day. I recommend that if you are going to touch up, you first blot the oil first. Foundation can look kind of cakey if you just put powder on top of it, but I don't have any blotting sheets right here, so we're just going to see what happens. This is the same powder I used earlier, the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat. And I'm just very lightly, if you guys can see that, I mean there's barely any product on that brush. I'm just barely like tapping that. It touches up very nicely. As you guys can see, it's, I mean, I would still be good to go. I wouldn't worry about this. If you guys want to give this a try, let me know if you purchase it and what your thoughts are below, or if you have tried this. But I do think, I really don't have any complaints. I mean, other than my mess up earlier with not recording, which actually kind of worked out as a benefit, because by applying it the first time and putting it directly on my face and then trying to blend it out, I did not like it at all. I didn't like the coverage level or anything, but by pouncing that beauty sponge in the product and then putting it on my face, I got a really good high coverage on one layer. So that was a happy accident, because I actually give it a better review doing it that way. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you would subscribe. I hope this video was helpful if you were kind of debating getting this foundation or not, and you have a similar skin type as me. Hopefully this helped and you guys can see how it held up throughout the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye.